All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to the Akim pushing this truth and sincerity, bahasham, qadash. This video that you see on the screen right now is entitled "This World is on the Brink of Destruction." Okay, and it's you can find it on this brother's page right here, GMS Walking Talk SC. Okay, these brothers are from South Carolina. Okay, I know this brother right here came down here to Arizona and taught with the brothers at one time, and basically at the 1 hour and 22 minute mark, this brother um, basically comes up to these men teaching these brothers, okay, and he had brought his whole family to meet the servants of Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi, okay, and they brought gifts, they brought gifts for these two men. So I want to go into alms deeds, charity, tithes, basically giving, and how it's it's beautiful. What do the scriptures say? It's better to give than to receive. And you know what? Let me let me start off with that. You can find that scripture in the New Testament. I haven't pulled it up, but I'm going to pull it up. Let me just get this one in the book of Acts. This is Acts 20 and 35. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to see a whole family wake up, to the knowledge and acknowledge Yahweh Shai and his doctrine and the men that he set up. Not too many people have that gift. A lot of people think that what we do is radical. A lot of even in Israel, you got a lot of people that think that it's radical. But in any event, this is Acts 20 and 35, and it says this. I have shewed you in all things how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak, right? And we labor, not only for ourselves, but those that hear us, okay, to give back this wisdom and knowledge and understanding that we've received. Ye ought to support the weak, right? And our people they're in a weak state. Our people are in need of healing. Okay, this is, and to remember the words of Yahawah Bashem Yahushai, how he said it is more blessed to give than to receive. You see, it's more blessed to give than to receive, man. So um, like I said in this video right here, this brother by his whole family to these two men, they're in Great Millstone. They've been out there for a minute, teaching the words of the scriptures, man. So yeah, these brothers are out there supporting the weak, week in and week out doing the work, uplifting the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and unraveling this book. Okay. And it's better to give than to receive because, the brothers don't get paid for what they do, you know, but they acknowledged how this man, okay, taught them basically everything they know about the truth. They came to him, come to him for spiritual guidance, man. So it's more blessed to give than to receive, and they're going to get a blessing for the gifts that they gave these two men because paintings, some oil for their wives, they gave some stones, and other things they have given, bearing gifts, and so both parties are going to be blessed, So yeah, I want to go into alms deed, charity, tithes, and giving, So yes, brothers, it's better to give than to receive, and they received it. They received what was given to them. And that's spiritual. That's okay. It's lawful for someone to give you something for teaching the truth. Now let's go to First Corinthians 9:7. It says, "Who goeth a warfare any time at his own charges? Who planteth a vineyard and eateth not the fruit thereof? Or who feedeth a flock and eateth not of the milk of the flock?" You see, And basically, this is basically saying that, you know, if you plant a vineyard, if you plant grapes, are you not going to eat of the grapes that you plant? You know, and up here it speaks about, if you go to war, at any time at his own charges, because soldiers have to be kept. They have to be fed, and they have to be kept in the barracks. For lack of words, it says who feedeth a flock and eateth not of the milk of the flock, right? So if you have a goat, or a cow, you're not going to drink of their milk. You're taking care of them. So the same thing with the truth, man. Say I these things as a man, or say same also. Okay, so Paul, he's saying, I'm not speaking this as a man. The law says this, for it is written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. Doth the Most High take care of oxen? Take care for oxen? Okay, it's written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. So if you have an ox, okay, and he's treading the corn by stepping on it, okay, are you going to cover his mouth so that he don't eat of the corn? Nah, he's working. He's worthy of eating of that corn. He's working. And you gotta, and brothers are working, so it's lawful for them to receive of gifts and money and food and different things from people that they're teaching. It says, or saith he it altogether for our sakes, no doubt. This is written. He that ploweth should plow in hope, and that he that thresheth in hope should be partaker of his hope. See, so basically, let's get another translation. This is the New Living Translation. Wasn't he actually speaking to us? Yes, it is written for us, so that the one who plows and the one who threshes the grain might both expect a share of the harvest. And yeah, that's true. Okay, because you plow in hope, man. You hope to be rewarded, and that says says up here, and that he that thresheth in hope should be partaker of its hope. Right? You expect to get things along the way, and the Most High blesses you, man. The Lord blesses you in many ways. People give you things, and brothers, are charitable and give you things. You know, and just a quick example, case in point. One of the brothers in my camp, um, he decided to buy a vehicle. And he had a vehicle that he wanted to get rid of. you know. And I didn't have a vehicle at the time, and that brother, 'cause the one that I had, it just totally died on me. But that brother was like, "Hey, man, well, I'm you know, um, about to buy another vehicle, and this one, man, I can just put it in your name. You have to do a little bit of repairs, but nonetheless, it'll get you from point A to point B, like ASAPs." And I was like, "Yeah." So that's exactly what happened. We did a exchange of title, and he gifted me the vehicle, and basically I did some repairs, and I've been using that vehicle. So it's the same thing with this truth, man. Us brothers, we hope to get rewarded, and we do get rewarded, because the Lord blesses us for things that we do in this ministry. For brothers you teach, for people that might come up in like family, they might come up and hear you, speak, and they might give you some money, or they might do certain things for you, whatever the case may be. Okay. It says, if we have sown unto you spiritual things, right? If we sown unto, people spiritual things, if you teach someone spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? Like, nah. It's good and it's lawful, for one that is teaching to receive gifts, food, money, things of that nature, for teaching someone, you know. It says, if others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Nevertheless, we have not used this power to suffer all things, lest we should hinder the gospel of Mashiach. Okay. Now, And this is all written in the scriptures, man, because really we're like a functioning, organized body that we take care of each other. It says if you support others who preach to you, shouldn't we have an even greater right to be supported? But we have never used this right. We would rather put up with anything than be an obstacle to the good news about Hamashiach. See, and that was Paul, man, having humility, and suffering, and never asked, of the churches, but yet, it was lawful for the churches to give unto him. Okay, people, if people help you, and you help them back, how much more those who give you spiritual knowledge and feed you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, shall they now receive things too, even more? See, it says, do ye not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple, and they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar? And this is going back to in the temple, man. When the high priest would do sacrifices for the people for their sins, they would eat that meat, they would eat that food. You know what I'm saying? So they lived, okay, from the things that were sacrificed. They ate the food. It says, the animals. It says, even so, the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. You see, so it's a lawful thing for brothers to receive money, apostles, elders, and so on and so forth to receive money. Okay, because that's part of the gospel, man. That's how this truth circulates, so to speak. That's how we take care of one another. You know, let's get a. I wanted to read something real quick right here on the 13th verse. There, First Corinthians 9:13. Don't you realize that those who work in the temple get their meals from the offerings brought to the temple? You see, and those who serve at the altar get a share of the sacrificial offerings. You see, so this even went back into the law. Okay, those that who work in the temple, because there was people that was working in the temple, get their meals from the offerings brought to the temple. Okay, so when people would bring their sacrificial offerings, okay, the workers would get fed, and the high priest, those who serve at the altar, get a share of the sacrificial offer. So they ate of that too. They wouldn't just kill animals and just let them die. They would eat of them too. Okay. So yeah, this is all. What do you say? This is all lawful. It's okay. It's okay for men to receive money, gifts, food, and things like that for teaching others. You know, that's a righteous thing, man. It's good to give alms, man. Charity and tithes, man. It's better to give than to receive. Okay, so let's go here real quick. I wanted to read something out of this guy, Dave Busick. If you go into the text commentaries, this guy has I guess he breaks down the chapters basically, and I wanted to read something right here. Bear with me 1 second, Salakia. This guy, for the most part, he goes in on these little breakdowns, but at times, he do misinterpreting. But thing that I wanted to found that I wanted to read. Let's go down. That's about okay. Let's start here. It says, in an army, the soldiers are supported whoever goes to war at his own expense. The farmer is fed by the field he works in, who plants a vineyard and does not eat of its fruit. The shepherd is supported by the sheep he cares for, who tends a flock and does not drink of the milk of the flock. Therefore, it should not seem strange to the Corinthian Christians that Paul has the right to be supported by the people he ministers to. And this guy's breaking down basically 1 Corinthians 9:7 to 14. Okay. Okay, and it says, does not the law say the same also? Paul's right is also stated in the Mosaic law. He appeals to scripture, not only human illustrations. I say these things as a mere man. In Deuteronomy 25:4, the Most High commanded, you shall not muzzle an ox who, while it treads out the grain. The law simply commanded the humane treatment of a working animal. In those days, grain was broken away from its husk by an ox walking on it repeatedly, usually in a circle. It was cruel to force walk over all the grain, yet to muzzle him so he couldn't eat it. You see, so that was part of the law. You couldn't treat your animal inhumane and not feed him, okay, of the corn he was treading out. You see, it is oxen the Most High is concerned about. The principle of Deuteronomy 25:4 is much more important than providing for the needs of oxen. Okay, the Most High establishes the principle that a minister has the right to be supported by the people he is ministering to. Okay, you see. So let's read this. It says, why? It says that he who plows should plow in hope, and he who threshes in hope should be partakers of this hope. It would be cruel to starve those who are providing and preparing your food. To do so would take away all their hope. It makes them feel abused and unappreciated. Right. You know, at times, you could feel like your words ain't going out and no one's hearing them or whatnot. Even though we prophesy to the wind, but nonetheless, you know, your words are heard, and that's and it's this video was a perfect example. That family, that whole family, that them brothers, they have a great reward. They converted a sinner from his ways, man. You know, it's just if we have some spiritual things, Paul here makes it plain that it is right for the spiritual work of the Most High's ministers to be repaid with the material support of the people they minister unto. See, and let's read this. The Lord had. Let's just jump down right here. You can read this if you want. I don't. For the lack of time, I just want to read a little bit more. It says, the Lord had commanded that those who preach the gospel should live from the gospel. It says this summary statement is conclusive. Some might say, yes, the apostles had the right to be paid, but no one today has that right. But this command from the Lord means that anyone who preaches the gospel has a right to be supported by those he preaches to. See? So it's okay, man. It's lawful for what these people did. Okay. And it's a blessing to give. Okay. It's better to give than to receive, man. Okay. So, you know, and like I said, you could read more of this. This is, this guy. Sometimes he goes in, and sometimes he don't. Sometimes he goes off. But yeah, I want to continue because yes, it's one thing to receive, and it's beautiful, to minister and for people to give you things and to acknowledge your works. That's lawful. Okay, that happened even in the temple. But it's more important to give. To be to the spirit of giving. The scriptures say charity shall cover a multitude of sins, and alms deeds, charity, tithes, giving. That's kind of all synonymous. So I want to read this. This is Tobit 4, and let's see. Let's start here at 7. It says, "Give alms of thy substance." It says, "Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor. The face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee." You see? Give alms of thy substance. So when you go into this word alms, you know, Salakia, computer. Alms basically is like money, food, good things that are done unto others, man. Charity and whatnot. It says something such as money or food given freely to relieve the poor. Okay, and believe when people give you gifts, man. It takes money. Okay, to because those girls were painting the young the man's daughters. They painted those two brothers some portraits of themselves, man. And that takes money, man. Let's see. Let's look up. Look at like you look charity, money or food given freely to relieve the poor. Charity. Synonyms, real quick. Synonyms: benefaction, beneficence, charity, contribution, donations. You see, things donated, man. Things given, man. You see, this give alms of thy substance, right? Give donations, give food, give money, things to relieve the poor. And when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious, okay? Neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee, right? So when you give alms, man, make sure you're not being, you know, wishing they would do it to you. Like, oh, I'm giving to you, but really, I want you to give to me. That's not really what alms is about, you know. It says, and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee. Right. Don't, basically, don't be stingy, man. The Lord won't be stingy, to you. It says, if thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. You see, if you have a lot, if you're doing well, give accordingly, man. It says, if thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little. All right. So if you don't have too much, give according to, that little bit that you got. Remember the story of the lady who threw in the 2 pence for tithing? You know, she gave more than the others, man, because that was all she had. You know what I'm saying? So, the Lord loves it. The scriptures also say the Lord loves a cheerful giver. Okay, so you have to use wisdom, man. When you want to give something, when you want to give alms or charity or be charitable, or when you want to pay tithing. It says, "For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity." You see, because the Lord sees, man. The Lord sees cheerful givers. He sees people who give alms and who help others. Okay. And against the day of necessity, guess what? The Lord, He got your back. You either get back, so to speak, because that alms doth deliver from death and suffereth not to come into darkness. You see, alms doth deliver from death. And like we looked up here in alms, one of the synonyms was charity. The scripture say charity covered a multitude of sins. Being charitable. Being brotherly, being sisterly. It says, for alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High. You see, alms is a good gift unto all that give it, you know, in the sight of the Most High. So the Most High, He likes when believers give alms to one another, man. In His sight, that's a very noble thing, you know. Let's go here. Tobit 12. These brothers are known to be out there doing the work, you know. When you watch this video, the world is on the brink of destruction. He says it. He says, the brothers, the other man who brought his family, he says, "Yeah, we know all about you. We've been watching you. You know what I mean?" So, the brother's been out there for a good minute. It says, "Prayer is good with fasting, and alms with righteousness." You see, prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. You see, and that's good for your spirit when you're in that spirit. It says, "A little with righteousness is better than much with righteousness." Okay, it is better to give alms than to lay up gold. See, it's better to give alms than to what? To store up gold. It's better to give than to receive. For alms doth deliver from death and shall purge away all sin. You see, those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. That's a good spirit to be in, man. Okay, if you alms, you like to help. You like to be there for someone. Phone calls, visits. You like to do things for people. Make food for them. Go deliver to them, visit them when they're sick. Hey, man, you be filled with life. That's a good spirit to be in. You know. This is the book of Sirach. Let's see, what is it? I think it's Sirach 7, but I have to wait. Yeah, 7 and 33. Yes. One second. Sirach 7 and 33 says, it says, a gift hath grace in the sight of every man living, and for the dead detain it not. You see, a gift, okay? And basically, alms, they could be gifts, alms that you give to people could be gifts, and that have grace in the sight of every man. Who don't like to get gifts, man? And for the dead detain it not, okay? But the point I wanted to make is in this first part right here. A gift hath grace in the sight of every man, so, you know, it's good to be brotherly, it's good to be charitable. Who doesn't like to, be given things? Who doesn't like to be looked out for? In the sight of the Most High, it's just it's a great thing, as well. Even more, okay. Two more scriptures, and then I'll end it out. Slovakia, for my computer. But we'll see what happens. I'll fix it. This also is in the book of Sirach, 12 and 3. Oh, you know what? I'm going to start at 1. It says, when thou wilt do good, know to who thou doest it. So shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits, right? Because then we just read that a gift is a grace to all man living. You be thanked for thy benefit, man. Because know who you do it good to, man. Do good unto those who can do good to you and who are righteous. This is do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. Okay, if you do good to a godly man, you're gonna get a reward. It's gonna come back. Okay, and if not from him, man, the Lord's gonna get you back. So there can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. You see, so basically the Lord is gonna look out for you if you don't look out for others, man. It's like being evil all the time. The Lord, he don't hear sinners. Okay, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. See, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. Right? You don't want to help people who are robbing, stealing, and killing. But nah, man, give to a godly man. You know, there will be a recompense. Like the family that visited those two brothers, they're going to get a recompense for what they've done. You know, that's very noble. That's very honorable. That's sincere, man. Coming into the faith, they saw that the brothers um, were teaching. They learned a lot of things from the brothers, and they went to go give a nice gesture to them brothers. And they drove from Texas all the way up to South Carolina to visit them brothers. Now that's spiritual. It's beautiful. Okay, so this is Sirach. What is it? I want to say 35. Right? Yeah, Sirach 35. Let's see. This is talking about sacrifices. Okay, and we read in First Corinthians the 9th chapter that the priests they ate from the sacrifices, of the people, and it says here. Let me start at 6. The offering of the righteous maketh the altar fat, and basically, that them brothers teaching out on the highways and hedges of South Carolina, that's their altar. Them two brothers, they make up the altar in that city. Okay, and what they given them that makes them fat. Like, basically, like they got hooked up fat. Whenever somebody hooks you up with a lot of things, you're like, damn, man, I came out like a fat rat, or they